So I'm Dr. Mary Emeleus. I am a GP and a psychotherapist, and currently I'm now a first year psychiatry registrar in Cairns. I have been a medical educator for GMT until quite recently. So I originally did my university in New South Wales Uni, and then I did my internship in the Illawarra, so mostly at Shell Harbour Hospital. Then I applied for GP training in North Queensland. So I did my training with the RAC GP training program, which I finished in about 2001. I did my fellowship then. I did an advanced rural skills post in mental health as part of that. So that was as a psychiatry registrar in Cairns, which is exactly the same job as I'm doing now, 17 years later. All of the places that I've worked, I've found things that I liked in all of those places. So I'm not sure that it's about a particular kind of person, because I think you can find a place that suits you, whatever your interests. And I think the key thing is not to be scared about being in a rural or regional area that you're going to be alone or out of your depth. I think in this day and age you're very well supported, including through your training. So if you're really adventurous and you love a challenge, then you might end up in a 1 or 2 doctor town. And if you're someone that that's not your thing, there are plenty of places in rural Australia that will welcome all kinds of doctors. RACGP can do an extended skills post in mental health, which would be 6 months, or the advanced rural skills post, which is 12 months. And there are slightly different assessment requirements for each of those. The RACGP does not have an exam specific to the mental health post, so you need to meet the curriculum requirements. You need to see a certain number of patients for counselling and have some supervision for that, and you need to work with people with certain kinds of problems, and you need to do a formal course in cognitive behaviour therapy. That doesn't have to be, a master's degree. There are lots of really good, 2-day courses, including one that I deliver for GMT with some other colleagues. The ACRM requirements, there are also case studies and competencies that need to be ticked off, and then there's a stamps exam at the end of it specific to mental health. I think that the best thing to do would be just to talk to one of the local medical educators and be linked. There's a particular person, Dr. Claire Jucker, medical educator in GMT, who carries the the portfolio of looking after the mental health special interest registrars. So the best thing to do would be to get in touch with Claire, and then she would talk you through how to apply. The case consultation groups are really valuable. I think it's really important to have some form of what we would call supervision. Whether the peer group may well perform that function, but it's also really helpful sometimes to have an individual supervisor that you might keep seeing over time. ACRM has a group of people with a special interest in mental health, and the RACGP National Faculty for Specific Interests has a psychological medicine network. And then I'm involved with something called the Australian Society for Psychological Medicine, which is a national small group of GPs with mental health special interest. And that organisation, we're working on developing regular case consultation groups via webinar, so that doctors from anywhere can participate in those and get that support from peers all around Australia. To have the opportunity to progress the mental health and the psychotherapy, which has always interested me, and the background of medical training and the knowledge of the body, it's just enabled me to learn different forms of counselling quite quickly, because I had that background, but also to see how things integrate with each other. And it's given me so many opportunities in my professional life. I think if you're a person who has an interest in counselling and people and the human condition, this is such a worthwhile thing to do, even if it's not going to be to define your career in the same way. It will equip you really well for whatever you do, and it's really rewarding.